think we're in a world, and I'm basically working on policy, and so my job is to go and to convince the parties and negotiators and the countries when they go into all of these big international gathering to adopt something, that they take the right decisions to conserve biodiversity, and so we go and advocate for some specific issues. And here, in particular, I'm following all of the stream that's about preserving life and conserving biodiversity, marine protected areas, which is one of the tools that we do have for that. And one of the changes over the conservation movement, if you will, the decades that we've been in conservation, it started with calling an alert on either species. It started a lot with species. Each species is endangered, a lot of the red lists. And then we started realizing that to save the species, we need to save the habitat. And a lot of the work around habitat and ecosystems importance. And then, we're now realizing to actually address biodiversity loss, we need to address the drivers of biodiversity loss. And those are socio-economic drivers. Those are our development rate. Those are, human population, because they need to feed them. And so we need to address that aspect. And not only the driver, we also need to make sure that the local people on the ground, particularly in developing countries, actually understand and relate to biodiversity so that they are part of that solution. And I think that shift, although we are starting to have the message and understand that importance, the practice of it is still a little bit lagging behind. So we talk a lot about ecosystem-based management and integrated approaches and involving the stakeholders. I think we can do a better job in making that happen on the ground, linking more with the communities, linking more with a different society, having a better understanding of the ecosystem services that we have from biodiversity, and translating that in something that makes sense to the policymakers so that they take actually action. So understanding the socio-economics of biodiversity, what do we lose when we lose biodiversity? It's not only biodiversity. We lose, we lose food, we lose other services, for example, coastal protection services. If we lose a mangrove, we lose more than the species or the trees. We lose the coastal protection services, we lose the nursery service that mangrove has provided for the fisheries that was able to maintain fisheries. So we lose more than simply the species or the biodiversity. And having that communicated and acted upon, I think that's what's needed at this stage.